Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, da들 하지 뻔한 이야기. But I say we start with paddle drama as we have made a recurring theme on this podcast.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it wasn't Major League Pickleball this weekend was not without paddle drama.
Yeah. Paddle drama is at an all-time high.
Okay.
By far. So basically, last week we had the podcast with Carl, and
Yep.
I predicted, I think that there are going to be a ton, whatever it was 65% of paddles in Atlanta failed USA Pickleball's standard.
Yep.
But Major League Pickleball has a higher threshold for surface texture. Well, this time it's sounding like we're going to be 90+%
Really?
paddles.
Yeah.
So, for example, there were no 002s in competition this time.
And was that just like a blanket rule?
No, I just think none of them seem to have passed.
They all failed.
So Tyson was not using his. Now he uses I think a Power Air or something. It's not it's not that black and red one, but it's the black and red one is the one that Jimmy and Dylan typically use.
Yeah.
And both of them had to change to something else because they were just apparently too hot.
Yeah.
The Yolas got wrecked for both surface roughness and deflection. Accounts like a certain player had brought 8 Yola paddles
Really?
to them, failed all of them. I heard another player had brought 12 paddles and had 11 of them fail.
And so these players are bringing an insane amount of paddles because they need like one of them to pass. Basically, it's like a volume game. It's like, well, one of them's gonna pass.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I did. I initially brought 8 paddles. 2 of the 8 failed, and so I'm down to 6.
Okay.
And then
Can I get the 2 that failed? Can you give?
Hell
me
no, I'm
What?
keeping them. Are you kidding me? What are you gonna do with the 2 failed paddles?
I need a new paddle. I use your paddle. Great. I have this tournament coming up and I need a new paddle, but they're like sold out.
Are you actually gonna use it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I believe you because I
Wait,
gave
why
you.
wouldn't I?
I gave you that
Because
other
you gave me
paddle.
the standard. You gave me the standard. I don't want the standard. I want your paddle.
All right, you want the squeeze one?
If you had one, by the way, I was going to bring you a gift, and it was basically I was just going to sign the standard and give it back to you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, I can hook you up with the squeeze paddle.
Yeah. Oh, an orange one? That'd be even. Yeah, I guess that's what you're playing with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are sick.
When do you leave?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Logistically, that might be tough.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a bunch of the Pro XRs failed. That's by design. And at least now we don't. Now we have some company.
Yeah,
Like
right.
welcome,
You can
welcome
speak more
Selkirk,
freely.
welcome
Yeah.
Yola. Come on, it's nice over here.
Yeah.
We've been hanging out with Carbon for a little while. So yeah, it's I talked to some of the guys doing the testing, and it leads to 2 questions, right? It leads to, did something change from their testing? Like, are they screwing it up? Or are the paddle manufacturers changing something? Or number 3, is the testing done elsewhere done differently or done in a way that passes more paddles
Yeah.
than probably should.
Mm-hmm.
So my sense is that the guys from Pickle Pro Labs are just hard on the rules. There's no finagling, like it's pass fail, like we're not going to change the stare to get a good reading, whatever. But I think we'll have to have those guys pop on and chat through their methodology because theoretically they are far more lenient on surface roughness. 20% margin of error, meaning that your RZ reading for grit can go up to 48, and still tons of these are failing, right? And so makes you wonder, well, how are they passing 43 at a PPA event?
Right. Because now we've got nationals this week, and we'll see how many failures there are, or they won't even talk about it. That's kind of what I expect. But, how do you go from one event, 90% of paddles failing, to the next, and everybody can play with their paddles?
Mm-hmm. Which also, like, personally, who cares if these paddles fail? Like, that's good. We have that. We have the testing in place. Like, if you have to go give them 15 paddles and only 3 of them pass, like, okay, fine. You want the ones that are close to the limit, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it, but we still don't want things that are over the limit. So
Right.
there's still I still think there's a lot of. It'll be interesting to see a report from the Pickle Pro Labs. It'll be interesting to chat with these guys and maybe see if they have a theory as to why so many paddles are failing.
Yeah. How often do you think it's important to change your paddle to maintain grit?
To maintain grit?
Yeah, specifically grit.
It depends on the paddle. So there's sort of different surfaces. So my paddle, for example, the Pro XRs, basically, like, you hit with it for like 10 minutes, it's going to lose like 5% of its grit.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because there's like, it seems like there's some very, very fine layer on top of it. So it's absolutely insane for like a couple of minutes. And then it comes down to earth. Well, I mean, like, so if there's something on top of it that's crazy, but that tiny little thing goes away pretty quickly, and then it's still insane afterwards, but not the same level.
Yeah.
So I would say, if on a scale of 0 to 100 grit, and these are just random units, so if a Pro XR starts at 100, within 10 minutes of hitting, it goes down to 95, which is still awesome, and then it probably, over the next month, it goes from maybe 95 to like 92. It doesn't lose a whole lot after that.
Okay.
But that's the way that our paddles are made. Some of them that have like spray-on grit or
spray-on grit.
Yeah, there's some of like the Selkirk.
Can you get that? Might have to be our first product. Grit in a can.
I mean, more or less. There's basically like a finish that I think Selkirk puts on at the end of it that sort of adds texture, and that comes off much quicker. Mm-hmm. It's somewhat similar to the Franklin fiberglass paddles that just have like a surface of grit. Those lose their grit very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So it depends what your paddle's basically made of, what the top surface is.
Are you tired of the endless search for the perfect court? Well, say goodbye to court hunting hassles with Swimply, your go-to solution for hassle-free court rentals. So whether you're planning a pickleball party or just want to enjoy a friendly match, Swimply has got you covered. With Swimply, you can easily find and book private courts that suit your game and your schedule. Just download their app, browse available courts in your area, and book the one that's perfect for you. Beautiful backyard pickleball courts are just a tap away. It's an Airbnb for pickleball courts. It's actually a super cool concept. So don't let the court hunt hold you back. Dive into the world of Swimply today. Visit swimply.com or find them in the App Store. Escape locally with Swimply. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie,